One of the most fun things about knitting and crocheting is adding all of the little details that just give whatever you're making a great personality and makes it really unique looking and just fun. Today I'm going to show you how to create a knitted ruffle that you can use on your next knitting project. So grab your needles and your yarn to stitch along. Welcome to Solo Stitching. I'm Lavina Perry. Let's stitch. So I have already cast on 75 stitches onto my needle. I am using a size 6, 4¼ millimeter, 10-inch straight knitting needle. You can use whatever size you want for this tutorial. I like this because it gives it close enough stitching, but they're big enough to really see all of the details. So that is what I am using. So grab whatever it is that you want to practice with. And I did a long tail cast on for this project. If you would like the tutorial for the long tail cast on for knitting, you can click the little link right up here and I will have that tutorial available for you. But for this tutorial, I'm going to start with it already cast on. So go ahead and pause the video, do your cast on, and then meet me right back here where we're going to get started on creating our knitted ruffle. To get the ruffle started, we are going to do 3 rows of garter stitch. And what that means is that we are going to just knit on each row for 3 rows. That is going to give us just a long strip of knitted fabric for us to work with for our ruffle. So go ahead and knit row 1 all the way across your 75 cast on stitches. And here we are at the end of row 1, all of the knitted stitches. This is what you should be looking like. It's just a regular row of knit stitches. And I'm going to turn and I'm going to knit the next row as well. Now I have finished my first 3 rows and I've knitted every row to create a garter stitch, which looks like a purl 1 knit 1. As it alternates, but you just knit on every row. So this is what the body of the ruffle will look like. So the next step is we need to reduce the number of stitches in order to make it so that all of this will come together and ruffle up. What we're going to do is we're going to be casting off stitches as we go along. So I did 75 stitches and I want to reduce this number of stitches by 2/3. So I'm going down to 25 stitches that will be left after I've done my cast off. So I'm basically going to be casting off 2 out of every 3 stitches as we go along. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to knit 2. And then I'm just going to do a cast off stitch, so which is knit 1, and then I'm going to lift the previous stitch over the last stitch and off my hook. And I'm going to do that one more time. Cast off by knit 1, insert my hook into the second stitch from the end, and I'm going to hang on to this yarn as I pull that stitch over and off. So that's what that looks like. So now we have this nice little gap right here. So now I'm going to knit 1 and then I'm going to do 2 cast off stitches. So knit 1, pull this stitch over, knit 1, pull this stitch over. And I'm going to keep repeating this all the way down to the end. So all of the stitches will be spaced out like this as we go along. And it should, if you're counting them correctly, then they will all be evenly spaced. So 2, and then we're going to cast off, knit, and then cast off, knit, 2, because we're keeping 1, cast off, knit 1, and cast off. So you can see as we've made some progress here that we have evenly spaced gaps where we did our cast off stitches, and we're going to keep working all the way down to the end. We're doing 2 cast offs and then keeping a stitch, 2 cast offs and keeping a stitch. After you're done with all of your cast off stitches, this is what your work will look like. So we have the same size of work, we just have gaps in between all of them. So to create the ruffle, we're going to go ahead and we're going to knit across the row, and that's going to bring all of those gaps in, and it's going to bring all of the stitches close together, which is going to make all of these previous rows ruffle up. Oops. So I'm just knitting each stitch here, and it's pulling in all of the stitches that were left into a single row without the gaps. And you can see already that's starting to gather these rows up and creating that ruffled look that we're going for. We are almost to the end of our knit row here to create our ruffle. And when you get to the end, you have an option to keep knitting along, and you can make this ruffle a built-in part of the project that you're creating, like I did here. You can see I made the ruffle and then I just continued with a stockinette stitch all the way up, or you have the option to do a cast off and finish this project off and make this ruffle stand on its own, and then you can attach it at the top of a shoulder or at the bottom of a project, or even like on the back of a little diaper cover to create a cute little ruffle for your project. That is how you create a knitted ruffle. Since I'm working this into my project and I'm actually going to be using this as a skirt for a little amigurumi animal, I'm going to go ahead and keep knitting on mine, Feel free to finish yours off and attach it wherever you need to on your project, whatever works best for you. But now you know how to make a ruffle for any of your knitting projects going forward. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join my channel and keep up with all of the updates and tutorials. And until next time, happy stitching.